good afternoon, Mr. Lacson. Our first question is, having to experience difficulties in your childhood, what did you do to improve your life?
Uh, well, first I had to teach myself. I had to teach myself to dream big, to aim high. I told myself that if I uh, dream small today, I will also have a small future tomorrow. But if I dream big today, I may have a big future tomorrow. So I essentially had to teach myself. I I I told myself that the size of my tomorrow depends on the size of my dream today. So being there, nasa baba ka, and I told myself that I can also create something big for my life, for myself in the future. But I had to teach myself. So I read a lot of books. I educated myself. I studied very hard, um, and because I started in a public school in elementary, and tapos sa high school I got a scholarship. So I depended on that scholarship. And so yun. Secondly, I had to discipline myself. So while I dreamt big, I also disciplined myself. Um, I worked very hard, I studied very hard, um, and um, and I was reminded by one famous poet, si Ralph Waldo Emerson in the US, who said that the person who succeeds is the one who stays late at night, while the rest of the world is deep asleep, to finish the work that needs to be finished so that tomorrow he can be prepared. And so I'm a believer of that. I believe in preparation. I believe in hard work. I believe in discipline. There was a story that I distinctly remember. You know, I finished elementary in a public school in Cabancalan, Negros Occidental. You don't know that place. And in a high school, also in Cabancalan, and I'm sure my high school you would not know. And I'm sure siguro perhaps the whole of Ateneo today does not even know or recognize the school where I finished my high school. So when I finished my high school there, then when I went to UP Diliman for my college, and insecure ako nun. Dahil my classmates, many of my classmates, or most of my classmates, they seem so intelligent and bright, and many of them speaking in English, and I could not even speak good English at the time. So tahimik lang ako parate, and I noticed that I was not so good in math, not so good in science compared to my classmates. So they could understand the subjects easily, but me, what they can understand in 10 minutes, it would take me 30 minutes to understand, sometimes 1 hour. So I felt so insecure. But what I did was that I studied very hard during the day, during free time, during the night. So if my classmates would study 1 hour, I would study for 2 hours. If they would study for 2 hours, I would study for 3 hours. And I saw myself improving, and eventually, I think one day I was able to catch up. So that's it. I discipline myself. And thirdly, I think my faith in God really sustained me. I was brought up in a family that where my mother really was very deeply religious, and almost every day would go to church. And there were days that she would bring me to the church with her, and that faith in God sustained me because I looked at God as the great source. You know, it's like an electrical socket. You know, that was one of the wonders that I had when I was small. Na, I always wondered, what is in that socket that when you plug the electric fan would run? What is in that socket that when you plug the socket, the TV would show something? So when I was growing up as a kid, I always wondered, what is in that socket? And of course, later on it was explained now, of course there is electricity, you can see it, and it comes from a great source somewhere. And my concept of God is like that, great source. And so I plugged in myself with God, and He sustained me. So